Kennedy, as you've seen through the weeks, I take these discussion boards and I always add a question. And a lot of times students don't address the question, but I mean, at the very least, it's meant to get you to think, right? In a perfect world, students respond to the questions, but of course, time constraints and other issues kind of preclude that as being a condition, right? So at least the idea is to get you to think. Okay, so I'm going to start with my question for you. There is a little bit of conceptual difference between a piece that we would consider a successful fine art piece and a piece that would be considered a successful communicative piece indicative of a graphic design project. Presumably in graphic design projects, we're sending a message, okay? And in fine art projects, we're not necessarily sending a message as much as we're kind of exercising our creative freedoms, right? So that's kind of a little bit of a difference. My question to you is this, is this piece, is this indicative of a fine art piece or a graphic design piece? Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint here. As a graphic design piece, as a fine art piece, this is gorgeous, right? As a graphic design piece, it might be lacking in a couple of areas, specifically referring to the elements and principles of design. I don't want to give it away, so I'm not going to give you more than that. But my question is, this piece is lacking something that is necessary for a graphic design illustration that is depicting some sort of a narrative message, right? And I want you to identify what is missing in this piece, okay? Now, as far as the style, this is a gorgeous piece. I think really the neat thing here about this piece is its depiction of depth, and so much so that what we have here is called, gosh, I can't think of the style right now. It depicts depth. It basically falls into the order of stacking, where we take a look at the way things fall in a composition. So example, I've got two hands here, right? If I move this hand behind this hand, even though they're the same size, this hand here appears to be closer to the camera, right? Because that's what I'm looking for, the law of overlap. It's overlapping. So if you have two objects that are relatively identical and you place one behind the other, the one that's behind appears to be farther from the focal point. And we see that as just a wonderful depiction here. This piece would not have the depth associated with if the foreground were just this flat plane. This foliage here, this snake right here, all of this amplifies the depth of the piece to a very, very high degree. So I think it's really, really an interesting piece. So go ahead, good choice, really good choice. Great job describing what you're seeing and what you're feeling here. So good job talking about executional light. As far as I'm concerned, listen, any analysis of artwork that doesn't include an analysis of light is not a complete analysis. And to a very high, you've heard me say this before, and you'll hear me say it again before the class ends, but to understand illustration to a very high degree is to understand light. And I think that many photographers, again, would say the most important thing of photography is understanding light. How does light behave on objects? How does light behave on compositions? And how can we manipulate light to our advantage? So I was really, really pleased to see you mention the use of light. That's great. That's good stuff, man. All right. So that's my question, or go ahead and address that question. But I just want to say, really nice job here. Thank you very much, Kennedy.